win today from Bill Moffat and John Beck. Our overall Superbike, Sloane Frost now 134, 31 points clear of Andrew Stroud, who's now 1 point clear of John Ross, so a change there. Toby Summers, Superstock, 139 points. Dylan Telford, 126. And of course today's winner, Superbike, Scott Moyer second, was Andrew Stroud on a countback from Sloane Frost. Well, the main countback is looking at rise with equal points, so then you look at the best results, and that put Andrew one up over Sloane. So there we go, Spider and our Pro Twins away with our 125s.
Yeah, split start here for the 125. Sometimes we've seen them run with a super line for the split start because of just the way they get off the line. They're not safe to run off with the Pro Twins, and 2 championship classes there amongst it all. And look at that, 2 man about glass bikes leading. It is Bailey Perriton in the first lap through Castrol there, leading the Pro Twins 650 class there, with Dennis Charlotte sitting in there in second. But we saw Carl Messiter, I think, on pole position. I think Carl Messiter and Ryan Bradshaw both went out at the dog leg coming onto the front straight in the last race, in the race yesterday. I missed the first race today. I got out here at 5 to 10 ready to start the day's proceedings, and that was listed in the program as number 10, but that was a bit late. But drama already. That's Bailey Perriton right at the back of the field by 200 metres, so he's run off the track somewhere. I would suspect it was on that very, very fast right-hander out of past Macaulay Ford, because Bailey Perriton, the blue man about glass bike with the white leathers, here he comes. There's all the bikes going in to the first corner. In fact, there's number 11, which is number 11 going through, but or maybe not. Maybe that was the bike that I saw. That was, no, it is the 2 man about glass bikes out the front. Yep, apologies for that, Bailey Perriton, but the colours look the same right off the distance, and Bailey's out the front, he's still holding it there, and right in behind him is Dennis Charlotte there, and Ben Rosendale. Ben Rosendale wears the number 1 because he is the current New Zealand Pro Twin champion, but he's going to have to do some work to retain that title, because he hasn't had a checkered flag in front of him with no one else in front of him so far this weekend. As I say that, it looks like he's trying to move in between those 2 man about glass, or is it men about glass? Aaron Sherrill, the bike owner, not here this weekend. He's at home in Christchurch celebrating his birthday, and hopefully he wants a couple of wins for his team and a couple of second places like last weekend for his birthday celebration. So here we go along the start-finish line, and how much in it then? We're looking at the timing, 53 thousandths of a second. 53 thousandths a second. We saw a win by Dennis Charlotte last weekend of the New Zealand Grand Prix by just 3 thousandths of a second, and I talked to Bailey Perriton last night and said what happened there, because he got a country mile, or a bit of a hole shot going into the last corner of the New Zealand Grand Prix, the big 2XS sweeper. And I said, was that Dennis giving that to you so he could slipstream me from the line? He says, I don't think so, but certainly Dennis used his many, many years of racing experience to put him into win in previous history New Zealand Superbike and New Zealand Supersport championships, and used his experience, and maybe just did let young Bailey Perriton have the corner, and maybe hole shotted him from behind him and got it by 3 thousandths of a second. So I don't know. I have to talk to Dennis about that move, but Bailey reckons he didn't give it to them. Out onto the start-finish straight, so still the 2 blue bikes in the front. Can't see quite who's who, Neil.
Indeed, close to watch and exciting to watch as well. Look at that, and again a shadow. Look at that, the 84 there, the 84, Dennis Charlotte. I think just at the point where we look back at them, at that point I think they were nose to nose, and then Dennis having the better catapult out of the corner has given him the drive along the straight, and just at the end he just seems to be able to keep his nose back in front, but Bailey does all the work through that next part of the lap to then get right on his tail again. So Dennis Charlotte, Bailey Perriton is... we've talked about already today, the father and son, so Damien with 2 sons, Bailey and Connor. So we're great to see the Perriton family, not quite my 3 sons of the Hugenbusen family, Bill, Alistair, Matthew and James, or for that matter the Stroud family, although the Stroud family's done a bit like the Perriton family. It's gone from my 3 sons down to my 2 sons, with Andrew, Jesse and Jacob today, with Caleb missing off the Stroud family lineup. Real family affair, great to watch, and I'd like to find in other countries around the world where you've got father and sons that are competing against each other, or in other classes at the same meeting, and to find 4 from the same family, 4 boys. Yes, indeed. Of course, history created, and it hasn't been equalled yet. It was created back in 1999 and 2000 season, with the 3 King brothers riding world motocross, all in the time what was called the 500cc class. So a great record to have, with Daryl Shane and Damien King all competing in world motocross in that premier class all together. So yes, we've seen other brothers from other families that have done it, but 3 kings to do it in the world. That has not been equalled, to my knowledge, in a record dear to New Zealand's heart and motorsport. So keeping up the family affairs out there, great to watch out there. So Dennis, Bailey and Benjamin going for it at the moment. Nathan Jane, the man we want to add to this one. And Nathan Jane, well, he's got an award for his outstanding exhibition this year as far as a rookie's concerned, and I'll tell you what, really laying it on. The man from Whangaparoa, and he's written down in the program, he's just riding a Zuki, but a response is nil, absolutely nil. This guy's doing it, and to think that he's all of a sudden gone to join a field like this and finds himself straight into 4th place. This guy's got to be saying, man, oh man, I wish I was doing road racing years ago. Spider Staples, that is an outstanding rookie effort. That would earn him rookie awards at the likes of an Isle of Man event, wouldn't it?
Oh, certainly, and what's even better than this, I talked to the other pro competitors, have been talking to him, and he doesn't even have what's called a power commander on him, so they can tune the bike as well. So even better, he's running on an under-spec bike here at Teretonga, was doing it at Ruapuna last week. Didn't even notice him in the results last week at Ruapuna, to be quite honest, but certainly the man is on fire. And Sean Harris brought down a couple of Regina chains courtesy of Eurobike Wholesale to give away for the best novice, and it was hands down to him yesterday, and thank you, Sean, for arranging it. The 2 men about glass bikes out there in the front, it is Dennis there, followed very, very closely by Bailey and Ben Rosendale in 3rd place, Neil Ritchie.
If we're going to talk about Nathan Jane, we'll just go back to last week's results. There we go. He scored 9.13.0. Spider for a total of 22. So in the last race, didn't even finish the Grand Prix. 13 points is a 4th place. So that's exactly where he lies at the moment in the first race of night. So not a very good result. He was lying in 7th place coming into this event, and I would suggest he's probably jumped to 5th as well. No, Carl Messiter, of course. He's potentially jumped to 4th place overall in the championship, and it should be able to hold that, I'm sure, from here on. So fantastic rookie effort, as we like to call it. The best new improver in our sport. Keep an eye on that name, folks. Nathan Jane.
Oh, look at that. 2 bikes side by side going over the start-finish line. 12 thousandths of a second between 1st and 2nd, and the 3rd and 4th bike almost parallel with 20 thousandths of a second. Let's also go down to the 125s. Not a lesser class, just further back in the field and hard to pick up sometimes with the excitement going up the front, but it is Rogan Chandler, the young lad from the Hutt Valley out there on the 125 GP, number 15 machine. Ashley Weller, the former Invercargill man, now from Christchurch here, a massive 104 kilos. He's been out of the sport for about 6 years. He said he's put on about 20 k's. I'll tell you what, that's 20 k's of muscle, because that man's a logger and he's just sheer muscle in that, but certainly 104 kilos and punting around a 125. He says, how are you doing? He says, I'm just determined. I said, but everyone else is determined as well. They all want to get out here and do as fast as they can, but he's just doing such a sensational job. Chris Kane in 3rd place in the 125 Grand Prix class, followed by Chris Wallinger and Chris White. They're separated by with Shane Hildred there on a 650 Pro Twin number 11, and then we go down to Brighton Hardacre. There's the lead bikes going through, and it still is Dennis Charlotte. He's opened the lead to 0.2 of a second, and Bailey Perriton goes down through there in 3rd place, just 20,000 of a second behind. You can see Bailey closing up on Ben Rosendale around that big sweeper, and a good solid forward there for Nathan Jane. The just exceptional work for this guy coming to his first time down in Invercargill, first time on a Pro Twin this season, and well, he's done a bit up in Auckland and that, but certainly first time at Nationals, and right up there at one stage in the last Pro Twin race here at Teretonga for the New Zealand Superbike Championship 2016 earlier today. He set a lap record, but I think that's gone across to Ben Rosendale. Fastest man on the track, Bailey Perriton, a 104.941, a 104.999 for Ben Rosendale, and the fastest Dennis Charlotte's man is a 104.226. So maybe the jinx is going to be broken. Maybe Ben Rosendale can come through and take a win from the Man About Glass team. The first two, well, there they go side by side along the start and finish line once again. It is 52 thousandths of a second, 52 thousandths of a second separating the first 2 bikes, and I think they're coming across lappers, and they'll come out of there probably in the Macaulay Ford corner, but the tight pack and 3rd and 4th have closed up. There was about 40 metres between those 2 bikes before. They're now closed up. It's almost 4 side by side. They're coming across those lappers in about 2 corners. All sorts of jostling going on there. The black leathers of Dennis Charlotte comes through in first place. Bailey Perriton, the fastest man on the track, in 2nd, and Nathan Jane from 4th place has moved up into 3rd place, so pushing Ben Rosendale, the current 650 Pro Twin, down into 4th place. They disappear out of sight. disappear out of sight. I think they got through those back markers all nice and tidy and got through those back markers. All action aplenty right over the back of the circuit. They come onto the dog leg on the front of the straight. Today it is a 12-lap race where 8 laps, 2/3 of the way through it. Neil Ritchie.
Oh, just fantastic to see, and this longer race duration is really going to start to push them, I tell you what. And these guys, is anybody that's got to work harder, it's the smaller bike guy. Use the big bikes, and it's a nickname for pull your arms out of your sockets, but these guys have got to make these bike works. So they've really got to start to jostle and get the best out of them, and that's where you're so athletic on your motorbike, and it's where Spider's talking about of how well Ashley Weller is doing with his outstanding. Oh, Nathan Jane, best time at a 1:04.849, lap number 8. That was the last lap, so well done to Nathan. He's moved up into 3rd place as well, by the way. So Ben Rosendale, champion last year, has no answer for them. The Row-Lawn man, Ready Lawn out of Whangamata in the Coromandel, which is where he comes from, so a long way to travel. And I'll tell you what, he's had a real shock this year, because it has not been all his own way when he's had Bailey Perrodin and Dennis Charlotte move into the class, and they really have put some class into this one and made it very hard for him. But hey, after all, when you're the champion, you've certainly got to live up to it, and I'm sure we're just going to see him start to improve, and I'd love to see him win one, or certainly get up to at least a 2nd at the end of the series, to still give him the confidence to make some improvements in road racing and continue in this great class. Pro Twins it's called. We originally had an open Pro Twin, and the 650 class was the smaller Pro Twin. The open Pro Twin, it had bikes such as Ducatis in it before. It also had some other different odd sizes, but probably the most dominant of this era was the Suzuki TL1000, which was Suzuki's big V-twin. And that was when it was quite competitive, and unfortunately when we lost those 2 bikes are being made anymore. Yes, they were still around, it just took the edge, so the Pro Twin has actually become the 650 Pro Twin, rather than just calling it Pro Twin, people understanding that it has a 650cc twin limit on it. Although in saying that, we have seen the Ducati 750, as long as it has been the lesser valved cylinder, eligible to race in this one, but generally called the Pro Twin, and it comes from the V-twin configuration as well. So there we had a little bit about the configuration of the engines that make up the class of these bikes. Dennis Charlotte, Bailey Perrodin and Nathan Jane still with the fastest lap out there to Ben Rossiter ahead of Carl Messiter. Good run from Carl, an improved ride from him today. Was missing points, but he's got some of those back again now. From Dean Bentley, Ryan Bradshaw, Phil Martin, and the 125, Rogan Chandler, Ashley Weller from Chris Ken. Those guys again doing it in the same order. You're just going to find that when you look down their results, 1-1-1-1-1, 2-2-2, so on and so forth. So these guys super consistent, have put together some great results out there. As we acknowledge their sponsors as well, like Dennis Charlotte, courtesy of Man About Glass, Underground Brown. Thanks to Underground Brown, proud to be sponsors of our Grand Prix at Ruapuna last week. Big thanks to South Island's leading technology contracting company, Underground Brown, with race supplies, Pirelli tyres, AGV helmets and RST leathers. So Christchurch hero Dennis Charlotte, and some great work. And Dennis, apologies for prize giving tonight, already making a run to head back to Christchurch. If you wait till after prize giving and then go, and you've got a young family, it will be a terrible trip. So there we go, white flag out there from Mr. Paul Charank doing our flag work here today. Another faultless performance from Paul. We saw him doing a great job over the Burt Munro Challenge, of course, and a loyal and honest worker here with the Southland Motorcycle Club. So great to have Paul's assistance on board. And here we go, checkered flag, checkered flag, checkered flag. Oh!
3,000 of a second, the same split as last weekend. It was. They were snaking all over the track. They knew they couldn't be in the slipstream of each other, and coming along the start-finish line, 3,000 of a second. Graham Rosendale takes 3rd. It was Dennis Charlotte took the win there. Bailey, then Ben Rosendale, Nathan Jane, Carl